Rocket in the sky, catch your eye, please don't cry, wave goodbye. I survived all them dark, cold nights. Star, I am bright, I don't die, I won't lie. I'm just trying to be the best I could be and achieve my dream.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Sober Stew podcast. You're listening to and watching an addiction-based recovery podcast. Today, my guest is Shaun Reaney. Shaun I've known for maybe 14 years. I don't know, I'm guessing. I'm going to ask him in a minute. Got a long history. Some of it I don't even remember. So I'm going to ask Shaun. Shaun, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, wicked. Thanks for coming as well.
Pleasure.
Mate, it's been a long time. How long's it been since we've seen each other?
I was thinking about it. I think it's about 16 years, something like that.
We've known each other?
Yeah, something like that. I think I probably knew of you when I was about early 20s. 20, 21, something like that. And I worked for you when I was about 23, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, do you know
Long
what's
time.
mad, right? Because we started speaking again recently in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about other people who have worked for me over the years.
Yeah.
Right? Man, all fucking addicts. It's like, look, people watching who's not an addict as well for me. But lots of people who have done over the years have had addiction issues. Do you know what I mean? And I thought about that. Maybe that's like tracks a lot like. Do you know what I mean?
There is a lot. So there's a lot to think in that, in what someone's definition of addiction or problem and stuff will be. Because I've been learning that it's all up in the air. But would that be because you're a good person to be around if you're in emotional pain? Do you think people attract to you because you understand the pain?
Do you know what?
Or-
And people have always spoke to me.
Yeah.
Always spoke to me. Like on a deep level. So maybe I've always been welcome into that.
There's
as
a bit
well.
of work for you to do, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Yeah, always a bit of work.
Yeah.
Always a bit of work. But I didn't hire you though, did I? Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it me?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So look, this is my memory. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
can't remember fucking nothing.
Yeah.
In Dartford.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I come to you for all my external validation.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back on how that went, I can see where wrong isn't the kind of word to use. Didn't work out the way I thought it was going to, because I think my intentions were pretty bad.
Okay. What were your intentions then? Go on. Tell me what. Let's have it.
External validation.
Always.
Always. It always was. The funny thing is I feel like I was more confused than I was in pain at the time.
Okay.
And I use the word pain a lot because I think my addiction is in search for comfort. I don't deal with pain very well, emotional. And that's a blanket term for anxiety, low mood, anything like that.
From a kid to adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for someone who was entrepreneurial to offer me a job and give opportunities to young people to be in a management position and see potential in people, I was like, right, that's it. If he thinks I'm good enough. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what I was looking for. But it ain't that feeling that I was trying to get of the esteem or self-esteem.
Yep.
Can't be got externally.
No, man.
So when you don't get what you want from someone else, you're going to hit out. It's just, and that is pretty much all of my early 20s, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have given me a job in my early
Would you
20s,
not?
but you
No.
did.
You were fucking hell. No, do you know what? I think, look, as I say, I've said this a lot on this podcast as well. In my sobriety, in them 19 years, which is a big thing, there's been a lot of dark times for me personally in that 19 years as well. So it's like, I can never remember periods that well. So I don't know how well I was at that time either, mentally. There's periods where I was flying, like doing really well. But there was periods where I was really low, and I'd put on this exterior that I wouldn't let you know, or that one know how I was generally feeling. And behind closed doors, I was in fucking pain. Like you said. And but that was because I wasn't looking at me. You know, we spoke earlier, a little while ago, that you've been doing counselling. Yeah. And I posted a video yesterday about counselling, and I think you commented on it, and a couple of people commented on it. And it's like, fucking changed my life. Changed my life.
I had nothing else left. When I walked into that room with a guy called Jazz, I was like, I have what I thought, tried everything. I don't fit in life. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do life.
Did you not want to be here no more?
I was scarily close to that. Those thoughts were entering my head. When I considered them, it was I didn't want to be a burden to someone else.
Yeah, man.
Again. by someone else finding me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was the thing. If I could have just deleted myself, there was a button I could
You
press,
would have
I'd
done
have
it.
been gone.
Yeah.
But I knew that if I'd have done that, the hole it would have left in some people's lives and the image that they would have in their head of me finding me, I didn't want to put that on someone else.
Yeah.
So I had no answers. I had no bravado. I had no self-belief. I was just literally a blank canvas. Not even blank. It was just all black.
Yeah.
There was just nothing there. And that was actually shortly after I handed myself in at a police station. But that kind of led me to counselling. I walked in the room and I sat down, and Jazz, the counsellor, who I think saved my life. The work we did in that room. When I talk about him, I get emotional.
Yeah, man.
Fuck. But he said to me, what do you want to get out of this in the first session? And I said, I want to like myself.
Yeah.
I want to be content. I want to drink with impunity.
Is that what you said?
Right.
Yeah, like that one.
So basically, it was, I want you to fix me. So
Oh,
that
listen, I
can
felt
drink
really
as much as I
sincere
want.
with you then, right? When
Yeah.
you was and then got to that bit, it made me laugh.
Yeah, yeah, which bit you got?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, I sat in front of this fella who's like doing his studies and all the qualifications. He's working for a mental health charity to help people, and I've sat in front of him and gone, I want you to fix me so I can drink as much as I want. Right?
But that's
How
your
bananas is
reality,
that?
though. Yeah? That was your reality.
Yeah. So even though I knew I was broken, I still weren't ready to let go.
No, mate.
But that journey kind of towards sobriety had needed the foundation of a person, of who I was. I had no idea, like.
Yeah, okay.
So, but yeah, the
But
counselling.
he helped you. Jazz helped you find who you were.
Yeah,
who you are.
once he asked me, would you abstain from alcohol? And I went, no. And that was it. He never broached the subject again. But the work that we did in... because through your counselling session, you must have something come up, right? And something happens and you can nearly feel your brain rewiring. There's like, hits you like a train and you go,
What the
fuck,
fuck?
I didn't know that. And the amount of times that happened to me in a period of time, and you stack those up, you get an understanding of who you are, and then you can go out and do some real work. Do you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, your pain doesn't go away. Do you know what I mean? I was lucky enough with Mind to have one session a week for 2 years.
Okay.
Right.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the case I was. And I'll probably come back to that in a minute. But
So can I ask you as well? Was that paid for? Was that free?
that was £8 a week.
Mate, that's beautiful.
My cousin, my second cousin, took himself off into the woods and hung himself at 39 years old. And I was sad. I didn't have a close relationship with him, but I was fucking raging that society allows a man to ride into the woods and not come back.
Yeah, man.
Because of the gratitude I had for the opportunity that I had to have the support I had and have Jazz opposite me once a week. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone gets that.
No.
And I was a little bit angry that I got it and he didn't, and it ain't there for everyone. So I'm incredibly grateful.
Do you
for
still
that
feel like that
opportunity.
now?
Angry at the system,
Yeah.
or for not being supportive.
At the system.
It's hard. That's a really complex question in culture and stuff. You look at the, I mean, lad culture's calmed down a little bit now, and I think younger generations are a little bit more savvy. But you get on a tube and you can see adverts for gin.
Mate.
That's like, if you're having a shit day, have a gin, make you feel better.
No, it does, yeah.
They break it down to that. There's corporations that are spending $80 billion a year on aggressive marketing campaigns to make you think that drinking's going to make your life better.
Yep.
And it fucking ain't. It ain't going to happen.
No, it ain't.
But I get why it's natural. I get why I did it. Like, I get, given the pain I was in emotionally, I get why I wanted to take that away. And alcohol is cheap, accessible, and socially acceptable. So you're gonna reach for that. It's a natural thing to do to try and take that pain away. If you don't understand the pain or you don't have the tools to get through it, because the only way out is through. And if you don't know that, and if the system doesn't support people being able to be self-aware and investigate themselves and take care of people, without having to end up in a fucking police station or jumping off a bridge or about to jump in front of a train,
Or in the woods.
that's when you get help.
Yeah.
You don't get help when you're like.
No, you don't. You don't.
But they always.
Do you know what though, Shaun? You don't even get help when you're there sometimes either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've got issues with it as well. That's why I
Yeah.
asked the question, because you know what we've set up here locally is to try and help with that. But it's like that's a needle in an haystack kind of job as well, because there's just so many people who need so much and there's very little available. Very little available.
And but And the thing is, I was having a chat with someone earlier about this, and they work in the foster care industry. They work really well-respected authority, publish books, do seminars and things like that for foster carers. And he goes into these meetings with local authorities and stuff, and he's like, "I ain't got a clue. The people that are running these things haven't got a clue." And what made me laugh about that conversation was listening to your most recent episode with Addicted to Recovery.
Yeah.
They've set up a dry house.
Yeah.
Because they know how to do it.
Yeah.
Because we've been there. So the people best placed to help have got the least amount of resource.
Yeah, listen, this is the thing. You know, like, I've had this chat with...
And it's commendable.
Yeah, and I've had this chat with a couple of people. Like, you know, if you're going to work... If a service for addiction's going to work, it needs to be overseen or run by somebody who's been through the process. Because, you know, the way our brains work is not right, is it? So if I'm talking to general public out there who hasn't got an addiction issue, they ain't got a fucking clue how my head works. Like, sometimes people would look at me and they go, "You ain't wired up right." I go, "No, I know, I told you that fucking years." Like, I ain't wired up right. Completely wrong most of the time. I don't know whether that's down to addiction, down to ADHD, down to both of them things, down to whatever. But I think addiction's a major contributor to it. My wiring is wonky. It's as simple as that. So if you're coming in as a non-addict and running those services, I can't see how it works if you don't understand how your brain works. You sit next to me and we have a chat, I know instantly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, instantly. I get you. I feel it. I understand it. I've probably been through it. Vice versa. We can have a chat and then we can have a plan.
This is why counselling is so important, because I see the words I'm telling you are thoughts and feelings and experience going through a funnel that come out as words. You can't get to the meat of stuff by having a conversation or reading a textbook or anything like that. It's a lived experience that most of communication is non-verbal, right?
Yeah.
And how we understand words and how we use them. And the people that can have an affinity or an empathy for people in pain are people that have experienced that pain.
That's it. And you said something bang on 5 minutes ago, is that when you've got pain, you've got to go through it. You can't go fucking round it or over it and under it and all that game. Where growth lives is in the middle, there, in pain, innit? You've got to go through it, man. You've got to feel it in here. You've got to process it. You've got to come out the other side, and you come out the other side a better person. That's my experience. That's your experience?
My experience, 100%. And look, counselling, talking therapy isn't for everyone. And I wish everyone would give it a go. But how you connect those dots between subconscious, what's going on, what's driving you emotionally, it doesn't matter how you do it. But if you want to investigate yourself, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
And try as much as you can until you find something that clicks.
Yeah, and
and when you're in counselling, you are knee deep. Saying that, I didn't get into it for probably 6 or 7 sessions, right?
Yes.
It was week to week stuff. It was day to day. I was very closed off. And Jazz signposted me in a way, and I didn't spot it where he was taking me. And when I got to the front door of this issue, I went, "I ain't going there."
Yeah.
He went, "Oh, right." I went, "You've been trying to get me somewhere for 6 weeks, haven't you?" He went, "Yeah." I said, "I don't know if I want to go there." We was about 35 minutes into an hour-long session, and he went, "Right, okay." He said, "We'll stop now, if that's all right with you. Go away and have a think for a week.
Yeah.
And if you're ready, we'll go there and we'll do some work." And behind that door was a deep, dark closet.
Yeah, man.
You're knee-deep in the shit, and you have to get into that pain. So you're living in pain and learning how to deal with that pain to then spot the triggers of it, see what drives you in what direction to make what you would see as a mistake, or when something doesn't turn out how you want, how to deal with it and deal with that pain. So you cannot find comfort without dealing with pain.
No.
And the only way out is through.
And the only thing that stopped you going beyond that door within that day, correct me if I'm wrong here, and I'm assuming, would be fear. There is no other reason.
No.
Fear. And fear plays a part in every addict's life. Actually, fear plays a part in most people in society's life. That an addict, I feel, is blessed When you become sober and you're on a journey of recovery, you can look at all this shit, man. Look at fears and all these things, like your anxieties and that, and then we've got a chance to improve ourselves. There's a lot of people out there in the world who don't ever get that chance, do they?
No.
They don't.
No.
So you went back a week later. Did you break through the fear and go in the door?
I knew where I was 6 weeks before.
Right.
Before I walked in there, and I couldn't go back there, so I had to go forward.
So you went in the door?
I went in the door, and we continually kept digging and kept finding, kept digging, kept finding, kept crying, was laughing.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful...
And growing.
It was a beautiful experience I had with that man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And it gave me the basis to go on, but I still drank for 10 years. Funny,
Shut
innit?
up, really?
Yeah. So
go on, hold on. Well, that's a bombshell, right?
Yeah.
So Jazz was 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Mm.
Fucking hell, right. So when he gives you some pointers, some information in that, your drinking must have changed then for that next 10 years. It must have been different drinking because you've got knowledge and you're aware of shit.
Mm.
Did it change it?
I've not asked myself this question.
Have
That's
you not?
why I'm thinking. That's why conversations like this are so important.
Yeah, man. Because it must, for me, I'm not saying it has, but in my mind, it tells me that when you've got knowledge and you've gone into that fucking room behind that door that you didn't want to go to, then you carry on drinking. My drinking would be different.
I think I drank for different reasons.
Did you?
Different kind of pain. I think it validated my pain in counselling because I had no idea what was going on.
Okay.
I didn't know why I was the way I was or how or who I was.
Did it give you a reason to carry on drinking?
No.
It didn't?
No.
Okay.
But that was totally me. My mistake was, up until April last year, was thinking that I'm bigger than the addiction.
Yeah.
In that I can control it. It's fine. As long as I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? As long as I'm happy, I can keep doing it.
Yeah.
It was more like, as long as I'm happy, I can keep doing it. As long as I find other people to do it with, I can keep doing it. The people that I was trying to get external validation from weren't going to give it to me. And I knew that I was searching from them. So I just basically cut that off. And went, I'll be the only validation I want. And if I want to get fucked and not turn up to work, that's up to me. Mm-hmm. Not knowing that just acknowledging the pain isn't enough to actually deal with it.
Yeah.
You can have insight, you can have self-awareness. If you don't do any work,
it's fucking pointless.
You're just saying, I'm hobbling along in pain.
Yeah, man.
And so the drinking did change because I thought, well, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not a really bad person. I'm just in a lot of pain. And when that pain goes away, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And anyone who's got a problem with me dealing with my pain the way that I am can get fucked.
Yeah.
And that was my attitude. But all that did was an excuse to keep drinking.
Yes.
All that did was allow me to keep going down that path.
Was anyone else pointing out your drinking to you at this period?
No, I talk about it to everyone though.
But was no one telling you got an issue?
No.
You need to stop?
No.
No one?
No.
Or did you not just hear him, or was they not telling you?
I might not have heard him. But I think it's funny though, because people just want you to be well.
Yeah.
There's only ever two people that have told me. One's an ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
And one is my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Who said, you need to lay off the beers, you can't do it.
Yeah, and when you worked for me back in the day, I didn't realise. I don't think I realised. So there was another person who worked for me at the same time as you. You know the guy. He's been in. He's recorded with me. We had a wonky recording, and it never got published. It will do one day, right? I knew he was an addict. Right? I see that with him, but I don't think I knew it with you. I think you hid it well, man.
But yeah, because the validation I needed was to be looked upon by a business person as a good employee.
Very smart.
Yeah.
He was always very smart. See,
I was very arrogant.
Yeah,
I
but
was rearranging filing systems and stuff. Yeah, but you come in at work and go, what have you done?
But you know what? There was part of the arrogance that that I quite liked as well. But he was always very, very smart. Externally, I didn't see there was a problem internally.
Well, it's funny though, because I see that I was always pickled.
Right. Yeah.
So I just saw it that I was a binge drinker. It got really bad towards the end. There was a lot of secret drinking and drinking in the morning. It was inescapable. It was going to happen. But at that time, it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. And then covering up, coming round Monday, Tuesday, getting into Thursday. Yeah. That was just getting through that week, impressing the person that was employing me. At that time, it was you. That gave me free license to go and escape my pain all weekend.
Yeah, I hear that.
So that's where it started, and it progressed from there. But I think when you're binge drinking and you're doing it, say Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, right? Say they were your things, right? And you were smashing the life out of it, 12-hour sessions. And then you're up, you're going to work the next day, whatever. Your brain is all over the place. You ain't right. You're not straight. You might not be drinking, but you're not straight. And you're making decisions and you're dealing with people in a way that isn't congruent with who you actually are. Yeah. And the effect that has on your life. You're functioning, basically, your work is getting in the way of your drinking. Yeah. And at some point, for some people, that changes in that the work disappears. All right, I have free time to drink then. And the drinking gets worse. I think trying to be employed and being the best employee I could be would allow me to keep drinking the way that I was. Right. Because it gave me the validation I needed, and it gave me the money to go out and spend
on what you want to do.
I want. And all I did was piss every penny I earned up the wall.
Do you know what, right? So you've mentioned validation. Sorry, I'm just going to get my water. You've mentioned validation a few times. So your self-esteem... As a child, a teenager, as an adult, as a man, your self-esteem must have been shot to pieces.
Didn't exist.
It
was all based on everyone else's opinion.
Always.
There was no self-esteem.
Nothing
from me.
Yeah, see, look, this is where we get deep, because that's how I felt all my life.
How do you think that manifested for you? Oh, man. Where do you think that come from?
I think... deep rooted within me as a child, that's how I felt. From my earliest memory, and I don't know how old I was, I don't know, 4, 5, that sort of age, that's how I felt. Now, but my sister, who was a year older than me, or 18 months older than me, didn't and doesn't feel that way, yeah? But she hasn't got a spiritual malady like I've got, like I call it, yeah? That spiritual malady, there was a hole in my soul. That's the easiest way to explain it, man. I felt... lost, less than, not welcome, not wanted, not part of, not, whatever you want to call it, do you know what I mean? And I lived in fucking cuckoo land.
So did you find, when you feel like that, because this is how I felt, when I was dealing with people and my interactions were based on that I don't like myself, I was interacting with people based on how do I need to be for you to like me.
Yeah, of course, man.
So you're lying, you're living a lie.
Yeah, fucking hell, yeah.
It's one big lie, ain't who you are.
No, it's not. Do you know what?
You can't be consistent with that.
No.
And B, you get into cognitive dissonance, where you're actually behaving in a way that isn't congruent with your moral values. Yep. Because we've all got morals, right? We know right from wrong. Yep. I've done loads of things to impress other people that I totally disagree with myself. And that cognitive, living in that bit of friction between who you're being and who you want to be, that is painful.
Yeah, listen.
It's a constant state of pain.
Do you know what?
Mine come from, I think, like, it stacks up, right? It stacks up, and I learnt this through counselling, but I wasn't allowed to be in charge of my own feelings.
As a kid?
As a kid.
Okay.
I had a parent who was going through a really difficult time, and people of their age group have no idea how to deal with anything heavier than surface level, right? Yeah. And that's fine, that's just the culture. There's no resentment there. It is what it is. It shouldn't have happened to me. Yeah. But it did. And if I was sad, it meant they were a bad parent. That was the reaction I got. I weren't allowed to be sad.
Yeah, man, that's harsh.
I weren't allowed to be in pain. Because how badly that affected a parent who I loved so much. So I just pretended to be happy all the time. In a really difficult period of my life, there was a lot changing in my family. So I get to 25, 26 when I was in counselling. I I'm sitting there going, no idea who I am, because I haven't had a chance to explore it, see what I like, what I don't like. I didn't see myself as a whole person. And when I say whole person, I mean like good and bad.
Yeah.
There's stuff that's really, not likable about me. It's part of who I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And I accept that now.
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't accept that. That made up all of who I was. And some days I was a good person and some days I was a bad person. I was never a whole person. And that was, in my head, was just swimming round all the time.
Every day.
And none of it was real.
No, and going back to what you said about your childhood as well, obviously, we hear a lot about learned behaviours, but the big thing there is that's a trauma, yeah? That's a childhood trauma, isn't it, right? So that shaped who you was. So when you was looking and you went behind that door 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I'm assuming that's what was there.
A lot of that,
Yeah, man, there was a lot of that. So, all right, listen, hold on then. So let me think. So 10 years goes past and you start smashing it and your binge drinking then ends up drinking in the mornings. How'd you stop drinking? Because me and you, I took you through the program as well, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
So that was within that 10-year period.
No.
Was that before it?
Before. So what happened was,
All right. Yeah.
I was in a relationship that I was using to fix me.
Okay.
And how
Which
do you
we've
think,
all done.
How do you think that went?
Yeah, wonky. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was using... Don't get me wrong. You don't get into relationships not loving people, right? It wasn't that transactional. But my whole existence was dependent on the love from this person. And I couldn't handle it if I'd have upset them. I couldn't handle it if they took the mickey out of me. I couldn't handle it if...
Couldn't handle nothing.
No, nothing. Adult, mature emotions. Now, a lot of people can't in their early 20s, but they don't react to it the way that I did. So every time I drank, I was walloped and she didn't like it. And I totally understand why.
You didn't at the time though, or did you?
Oh, no, I couldn't at the time. I understand now. At the time, I was like...
What's the problem?
Well, everyone's doing this.
Yeah.
Everyone wasn't doing it. Everyone's doing this. And why can't I just be who I want to be?
Yeah, mate.
I feel like... and
you're controlling me.
Can you hear that kid in me? Why can't I be the voice that I want to be?
Yeah.
Putting yourself in that situation. It's very complex.
Yep.
Getting yourself in that situation. So you find yourself in this relationship where you feel like you can't be who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
She's only got her best interest at heart for me, right? So one night I'd had way too much. I'm sounding off. I'm being a horrible person verbally. And I was so disgusted with myself the next day for talking to someone who I was in a relationship with. I was like, I'll stop drinking so you'll stay with me.
Yeah, okay.
So I knew, having met you and worked for you, I knew something's not right here. My mates don't drink like this.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that does. They don't have these problems.
No.
So it's the drink. The drink's the problem. If I stop drinking, it's going to fix my life.
Yeah. It done.
No, far from it.
No. Because you still got a fucking malady and a thought processing issue.
Little did I know.
Yeah, man.
So, so I went into a few AA meetings on what would have been your advice. Didn't quite get on in those rooms, again, because I wanted to be the best at AA.
Is that where your ego was up there and your self-esteem was down there? That one, isn't it?
Yeah, because I wanted to be the best at AA.
Yeah, man.
And people ain't there to...
No. There's plenty of people who want to be the best in there because they've all gone in there with that same issue. We've all got the same fucking vibe. We've got that ego that's like, look at me, I'm the fucking governor.
Yeah.
And inside, like, you're scared to give you eye contact because you're going to see right through me and you can see I'm a fake. Isn't it?
Yeah, went to quite a few meetings and then, I'm not going to get the reaction. So this wasn't conscious thought process at the time. This is me looking back going, I can see what I was doing there. So, is this better answered as from the time or from now looking back?
Either or. Either or. Whatever.
So at the time, I didn't know that this is how I felt. I was just acting on my emotions. My emotions looking back now on that time was I'm not getting what I need from AA.
Yes.
To validate me.
To validate you again.
Who else will tell me that I'm doing a good job?
Okay.
That guy.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. I just, I needed, and also there's this So many meetings you got to go to before you go through the steps and stuff like that. And I was like, but I'm Shaun Reaney, I can do the steps now.
Yeah, but the reality is, Shaun, you can do the steps now.
Yeah.
And anyone who tells you can't is incorrect as well. Do you know what I mean? There is no set amount of time. It says in the book that you crack on, and that doesn't tell you have to do a certain amount of meetings, or you haven't got to do this, or you haven't got to do it. You fucking get on the program, because it's a life or death situation. So I'm never going to say to you, Shaun, wait 3 months.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why am I going to do that to you?
Oh, I agree.
You sit in a little bit more pain, and, you know, God willing that you don't follow where your second cousin went to the woods, right? Because have I got that power to tell you to do that with your life? No, I ain't, mate. I look in the literature and it tells me to put my hand out to help you, and my hand out to help you is, Shaun, come and do the program. Come and work the 12 steps with me. I'll show you how it works. Then I'll give you a program. Whether you then live with that program after that is down to you, brother, isn't it?
Yeah.
And did you?
No.
Hello, guys. Hope you're enjoying this week's episode. Just a quick break here. I want to ask you a big favour. If you are enjoying the show, enjoying the episode, enjoying the podcast, can you please subscribe? Please like, please share. I just want to let you know how important that is. The bigger this channel gets, the more people that see it, means that we can affect people's sobriety in a positive way, their addiction recovery. We might change a life, we might save a life. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Thank you.
I didn't have the basis or the foundation that I think I needed. Now, this is me talking about my experience. This isn't...
Yeah.
I'd never advise anyone else on, you know, what to do. I'm not in AA or a fellowship. And what works for me might not work for someone else.
Yeah.
But I don't think I had the emotional maturity or identity to even work the steps on.
Can I ask you a question? Did you have the inner honesty to work them?
I think I had bad intentions for them.
Okay.
The intention was to make me acceptable to other people.
Okay.
Everything I did around that time was to make me acceptable to other people. And I didn't care about myself.
No, and you was doing this to keep your girlfriend?
Yes.
Not to get sober?
No.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
So it's never going to work?
So it honestly is one of the best pieces of literature I've ever read.
Yeah, man.
The whole thing made total sense to me, and I loved it, but I didn't love me.
No, I get that. Yeah.
So it didn't land. The message landed, but the action didn't, because I didn't put it in the right place.
And do you know what? That's sad, Shaun, man. That's sad.
Ready.
You know what? Hearing that, right, is you know, for people watching and listening, that's honesty, because, you know, you didn't love you, and that's how I felt for so long. You're not worthy as well. Do you know what I mean? It's not even. Yeah, it's a hard one, man. But that's a powerful statement. Do you love yourself today?
Yes.
You do? Okay. And you said that bang straight away there, didn't you? Like, there's no hesitation.
But it's such a different kind of love than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, I got to sobriety through self-investigation. That's where I went. I wanted to find out every nook and cranny of my brain, my emotional, my soul. And there's some bits in there that I don't like. Yeah. But they're me.
Yeah. Your defects of character.
But they're me. And they drag me down. Sometimes I feel so down. And I think, why am I this person? And there's always there's no full stop on that sentence anymore.
Okay.
There used to be. It used to be such a devastating question. And now it's open-ended.
Right.
And I loved hearing the answer, finding out the answer.
So you can still grow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can still explore. You haven't got to beat yourself up every day. You can accept some flaws, work on them.
And I can hold my hands up.
And hold your hands up, man. And be honest.
And say, do you know what? That was a bad turn.
Yeah,
and I can tell if I upset someone else and I behave in a way that's not congruent with my morals, I go, right, what's actually going on here? But this is step 4, step 5 work.
This is It's so step 4 and 5 is like a 10. Step 10 it's the same thing. It's taking inventory.
Yes.
So you're taking a daily inventory. So what you're doing there is exactly that. So as much as you're not working a program, you are working a program.
This is what I was really excited to talk to you about. Is that I'm not in
No
a fellowship, but if I read through those steps again,
You're living them.
I'm doing that, I'm
Yeah,
doing that,
I
I'm
know,
doing that.
I can hear that.
If I upset someone, or if someone upsets me and I hold it against them and it changes how I behave with them,
Yep.
I've got to go up to them and say that I'm really sorry that I've said X, Y, Z. It was driven by this interaction that we had 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And where I sit in that is that made me feel like X because previously I've been made to feel like Y. That's where I'm at.
And you make your amends.
And where do we go from here?
Yeah.
And then I've done my bit, it's over to them.
Yeah, then if they don't take it, that's their fucking problem.
No.
You've kept your side of the street clean and you
Yes.
can move on. Because then you can move on and go, I feel all right now.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's not to say go out there and make fucking, make life's misery for people and just keep going around and making amends. It's about growing. But when you do something wrong,
Yeah.
do you know what? It's touch on that, right? It's touch on that because sometimes it's easier to make amends than other times. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. And with certain people, it's easier than other people, but that's my truth anyway. And you know, it's like when I was recording last week, was it last week or the week before, to the guys from Addicted to Recovery podcast? It's like we had this chat, and it's like Chris said that when he has to sit there and pause, or someone tells him he's done something wrong, he normally has done it. It's normally his fault, for example. And I took that on board. I take something on board from every podcast that I do, and that's the bit that I took on board last week. And it kind of rolls into what we're talking about on making amends as well. Is that sometimes it's harder to make amends to certain people than others. Do you know what I mean? But you can't be in this to pick and choose, can you?
No, but you can't sit in a place of every time something happens, you've done something wrong. I think you can. That's a whole nother podcast in itself, man. I think. But I try to look at it in a way that if I can understand why I've behaved that way and I can explain it to someone else, then yes, it might not be received very well, or. Actually, saying that, it happens a lot with my wife. If I do it with what happens, you know, if I say something or we're having an interaction or a conflict that I've started or I've taken offence, or I've said something and she's taken offence, and I go, well, this is how it's driven, and this is X, Y, Z, and blah, 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 like that. And she's like, no,
don't matter.
Actually, I'm here, and that's where I am. And I go, oh, that actually changes.
Yeah.
Changes. If I had known that, that wouldn't have gone that way. And
do you resolve conflicts easier now?
Yeah, I don't tie so much emotion to them. I think I allow other people to be. I'm not trying to control them.
Bang, there's the word, isn't it? See, because this is the thing. When you're conflicting with people, 9 times out of 10, it's about having them agree with how you think and feel. Yeah. Isn't it?
Yeah, and also, I thought that everyone was running... Because I run around taking everyone else's feelings into account. There are a lot of people pleasing. Do you know what I mean? I cared so deeply for other people that every interaction I had was based on making them happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Clever, that.
Funny.
It fucks you up, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I ain't fucking doing the same for you.
No, mate, no.
Because they're healthy.
Yeah, and
I
the
don't
other thing,
think
Shaun,
you can't
around. Do it.
No.
You cannot
it's not
do
healthy
it.
to do it.
Do you know what?
And
you can't make someone else happy, right? You can enhance their own happiness. You can't make them happy.
Yeah.
Ever.
And it's a lie.
Yeah.
You're not being truthful in that situation. If you're changing the way that you're being to make someone else happy, and that's all you care about, then you're lying.
Yeah, man.
You cannot live in that lie.
No.
Because it will fuck every interaction you have up. You have to be honest with yourself.
Yep.
And deal in a way that's honest with yourself. Now, I'm not saying walk around, tell everyone exactly what you think of them. Sometimes it's best to say nothing. Or choose what hill you want to die on. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of the times it's best to say nothing.
But, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm quite wordy, so I find that quite hard.
So do I.
But trying to control how other people care about your feelings by caring only about theirs is an equation that there is no answer. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't compute. And that's what happened during this relationship. So I'd come to AA, come to you, I still wasn't allowed to be the person that I wanted to be because I didn't know who that was. Trying to get external validation. If she was unhappy with me, I'm a shit person. All that kind of stuff. The relationship broke down. While I was still living there, she started another relationship with someone else.
Andy.
And that, honestly, that was like, that spun me out. That was in the October. I didn't say anything. I knew, but I didn't say anything.
Right. That's painful, man.
I needed to be friends with her because my mum and dad's divorce was so horrific that I needed to do it properly.
Yeah.
Again, not allowed to feel my emotions because of how bad it went before.
Yeah.
And I was going to do it properly because it was done so badly before. Get to January and I'm living on my own. I'm drinking when I want.
Yep.
I am selling cars. So I've got a day off during the week. And I go out at the weekends. So now I've just added a day to my drinking. So where I was Monday to Friday or working on a Saturday, and I was just doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I still kept those drinking times, but now I could drink on a Tuesday because I was off on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it got worse. And one night in January 2016, I drove into town, drinking heavily, watching the football, thinking I'm living my best life. Went home, carried on drinking. In that headspace of everyone, I'm a shit person, everyone hates me. The victim mentality of what that ex-girlfriend had done to me by moving on so quickly and not caring about my feelings as much as I cared about her was on fire. And I was in so much pain. And I don't know I jumped in my company car and I drove over to the house we used to live in. And I just wanted to see the house and remember a part of me that was happy at one point, being validated by someone else. And I saw his car on the drive.
You smashed it up?
I took a key to every single panel.
Okay.
And I scratched mug into the bonnet. I got in my car, shaking, drunk, realised what I'd done, hit a fence, drove home. Fucking God knows how I didn't.
Yeah.
It hurt someone. Right.
And then got nicked?
No.
Oh.
Carried on drinking through the night. I texted my mum at 7 in the morning. I said, you better come round, there's something wrong. Told her what I'd done. And now I haven't slept. I'm drunk, hungover, disgusted with myself. It's the next afternoon, and I didn't recognise even a person that was trying. I just saw someone who I just didn't understand any of it. I was so lost, and I knew I had to hand myself over to something bigger than myself, because my mum didn't want to. They moved on together, and I'm
get over it.
I understand why you've done what you've done.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, she was
She didn't want me to be in pain.
Yeah,
she was
man.
trying to help. She
But
was trying to protect me from pain.
Yeah, it weren't helping.
No. Trying to protect me from the pain I was feeling at the time and trying to validate the way I was feeling. But I ain't dealing with it. So I said, you better drive me to the police station. She went, no. I said, you have to drive me to the police station. She said, no.
So hold on a minute. So you handed yourself. You weren't going to hand yourself in, but they weren't even looking for you.
I don't know at that point. My phone was taken off me. My mum took my phone off me, and
okay.
I don't know if my phone was ringing or
you don't know.
People knew it was me. I've since found out I found out that about a week later that they did know it was me.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, and obviously I haven't turned up to work or nothing. So I said, you got to drive me to the police station. She said no, and she said, no, I'm not taking you. She said, how do they know it was you? They won't prove it was you. Blah blah blah. So I banged my head against the wall multiple times, and I said, someone has to help me.
Oh man, you was in pain.
Fucking hell.
Bruv, that's
I
painful.
can't explain.
Yeah, I've been there.
That no one was listening to me about how much pain I was in. Because friends have the best intent and family have the best intention for you. They want you to be well.
Yep.
And they don't want to go through pain either.
Nope.
So they don't want to see you go through pain.
No.
So they either try and ignore that it exists or they validate your pain.
But you're
there's
asking
no
for
answer
help.
to it. Yeah.
You're asking then.
And it was only after I was screaming that we got in the car, we drove down there, and I stood in the reception and said to the woman behind reception, I'm here to hand myself in for a crime. She went, oh, you're here to report a crime? I went, no, I've committed a crime. She went, oh.
I don't know how to deal with that one.
They were his exact words.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, I don't know how to deal with this. It's never happened before. And then we just kind of gave my details, what I did, where I was, what time it happened. Went home. I don't think I looked above the skirting board for 4 days.
Yeah, low.
I didn't shower, didn't leave the house, didn't talk. Wasn't verbal for 4 days till the phone rang, and it was my mum answered. It was the police. They want to invite me in for a chat. And what that police officer said to me changed the course of my life forever. And I get so emotional thinking about her because
take time, man.
She said to me, she was the first person ever to sit opposite me and go, I can see you are in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And I don't think a harsh punishment is going to benefit you anyway.
Okay.
She said, felt low myself. I've done a lot of mindfulness and a lot of journaling. She said, I can go and speak to my custody sergeant and ask for a community resolution order. And it wouldn't be a criminal record, but it'd be an agreement between you and the other party that you would pay the excess on his car insurance for him to have his car resprayed. And you need to go home and start journaling, and you need to contact the mental health crisis team. Yeah. If you do that for me, I will do this for you. And that's what I did.
Did you do it?
I did. I went into the crisis team, and in the preceding year, and then I went in to see Jazz, and we've already covered the 2 years of counselling and stuff. But I filled up 3 or 4 A4 notepads of just thoughts. Just whatever was in my head was going down on that page. Yeah. And
that's pain.
I've still got them, and because I spend a lot of time looking backwards for education of myself.
Okay.
I find them useful to have a look at sometimes.
Do you read them a lot?
A couple of times a year, maybe.
Do you not find looking back hinders you looking at the here and now?
Well, the present is... You live with yourself in the present, right? And I used to say all the time, I don't like myself.
Yeah.
And Eckhart Tolle says that sentence separates us from our ego. I don't like myself. So it's giving you 2 things there. Who is I and who is the self? So when I look back, I'm not looking at me in the I. I'm looking at me in the self. And I observe my feelings. Okay. I don't feel them. And then I come back into the present and I think, right, okay, that knowledge, how do we move forward? For example, been trying to lose weight. And these are the tools that I was given in counselling. And if you do difficult things well, often enough, you'll become really good at them. And one of the tools I got from counselling was how to use that work. So I've been trying to lose some weight, and I couldn't stop snacking. I mean, like, if I walk past the newsagents, I'm in there for a Yorkie and a packet of Hula Hoops, right? And I'm thinking...
I love an Hula Hoop.
Oh, mate. And I look through my bank statements, and there's transactions under £7. Cost me about £400 a month, walking past the newsagents, right? And I was like, I just can't stop eating sugar and junk food. And I don't know why. Yeah. I've got no idea why. And I was going to sit with that and look at the experience and go through it and whatever. And just observe it. And go, I'm going to see what comes up on my daily. If I'm going in the shop, if I'm walking past it, when I'm eating, what that is. And I went into London with my daughter last week. And I am so determined to have a relationship with my daughter where she's allowed to explore herself and her own feelings and give her the tools to do that I just fucking love being a dad.
Yeah, man.
Like, it's the best hard work I'll ever do, right? Aside from getting sober. And I always think, how is she feeling? She's 14 months. How is she feeling in this situation, you know, how, you know, what's going through her mind. She sat on my lap on the train, and she's got a little oaty bar, and I fed her the oaty bar, and then like that. I went, I've got a connection with my daughter. I don't have that with my dad, in a way that my dad now is not a bad person by any stretch, but he's not really good at connecting with me as a person and the things I'm interested in. Doesn't ask me a lot of questions. And I really want him to. I want him to be interested in me as a person. Like, even now, we'll go to the football. We go, oh, you're not having a beer? I ain't had a drink since April because my life's fucked. How'd you not know that?
You ain't fucking listening.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember being a kid. and
having a beer.
Oh, mate, honestly. He's a lovely bloke. But he's
a lovely bloke.
Yeah.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
He's not your dad, is he? Or is he? He's your dad, but what I'm saying, he's not acting like your dad.
No, but I can.
But he's being a lovely bloke.
But
that's his qualities.
That's the part of being a growth, is I don't hold a resentment for him because I didn't get what I needed as a kid, and I'm going to treat him badly because of it. He doesn't know he's doing that. He's just being himself, and I know what kind of relationship I'm going to have with him, and he doesn't change. He's a consistent person.
Yeah.
And I go, well, I didn't get the connection I wanted, you know, or have it now, but I can find that in other ways, and I can learn to love myself and have that connection. That's fine. And it doesn't affect our relationship. We might have a different relationship if he actually was interested in who his son was. That's aside from that. But when I was a kid, my dad had his own business and he worked full time. He was out at 7, he was home at 7, worked Saturdays. And at a weekend when I was off school, I used to go out to work with him, and he used to have to fly around doing quotes and stuff, so I'd sit in the van. My dad's not a 3 meal a day person. He eats as and when. And he'd eat on the fly.
Yeah.
And he'd walk past the newsagents.
And that's what you do.
And he'd say to me, do you want something to eat?
Yeah.
And he was interested in what are you going to have?
Yeah.
Oh, I like those ones. I'll have one of those as well.
Yeah.
There's that connection. Now I'm 36, I'm walking past newsagents, and I don't fucking know why I'm going into a newsagents to buy a Yorkie and a packet of Hula Hoops.
Don't even fucking
until my daughter sat on my lap, and I'm going, what is she getting out of this interaction now? I'm just being curious. And like that image of me being that 7-year-old boy walking into that shop feeling, my dad's interested in me.
Yeah.
And now I'm not addicted to eating the chocolate or eating the Hula Hoops. I just want that connection. But now I'm an adult, I say to that 7-year-old boy, and I look back and I go, you've got all the love you need. You're married. You've got a child who is obsessed with you.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy something. You don't need that from your dad anymore.
No, man.
I'm sorry, mate, but I've got to let you go. And that was 2 weeks ago. I haven't bought one single snack from a newsagent since. It ain't crossed my mind.
Because you've understood what it was about.
And that is what I think working a program gives you.
Yeah, it's knowledge, isn't it? And then you've got the chance to make a choice based on your knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said earlier in this podcast, if you then don't put in no action, it's pretty fucking worthless. So, but you've put in the action, but that is your choice. See, this is what I love about recovery, man. It gives you choices. Yeah. When you're not in recovery, you ain't got no choices.
No, and you can apply that to every part of your life.
Every part.
So I've always seen it as, definitely what's happened with me in the last 11 months, right, is I see every area of my life as one person that's linking arms with another person next to them. And each person represents a category in your life, be it sleep, fitness, being responsible with money, your relationships, your income, your self-esteem, and one of them's sobriety.
Yep.
If sobriety marches forward, they're all linking arms. They've all got to fucking go forwards. They're going to get dragged forward with it.
Yeah, mate.
The ripple effect of the work that you can apply to what you do to recover from your drinking, your gambling, your taking drugs, your food, where you get that comfort from to escape your pain.
Yeah.
You can apply that to other parts of your life.
It's powerful.
And the benefit is beyond words.
The biggest thing in life in recovery, not just in addiction, but to recover from many mental, depression, anxieties, addiction, whatever it might be, for me, is talking right? Because the more I open up and I talk to you, or I talk to my counsellor, or talk to my partner, or I might talk to my son, whoever I talk to, the more I talk, the more I go, oh fucking hell, you know that penny's just dropped.
Well, that's gonna. What questions you asked me? Did going into counselling change my drinking?
Yeah.
Fucking, I'm gonna sit with that.
You're going to sit
I'm
there,
gonna
aren't you?
love chewing on that.
I can see your brain
Yeah.
ticking out. And do you know what, right? I've asked you to come in today because, you know, season 2 of the Sober Stew podcast is going to be a slightly different format, I think. And it's like I said to you, you know, let's have this chat while we're sitting here, while the cameras are rolling, you know, and maybe once a month do a proper topic. You know, like I was driving in today and I thought to myself, I'd like to sit down with you and do another podcast and talk about daily rituals, for example.
Yeah.
Like what do you do? What do I do? What advice can we give the viewers and the listeners of things to implement in early recovery to get you through the day and to get you feeling good about yourself? Because that's the fucking key as well, isn't it? To get you feeling good about yourself. And I thought maybe that is a topic for our first discussion podcast that comes next. But I want to touch upon, and I'm using the word podcast a lot because you got sober this time by listening to recovery podcast, correct?
So I've done all this work in counselling. I've met my now wife. You know, things are moving on for me. We're trying to start a family. We're getting married, and drinking's getting worse. I've moved into an industry that is boozy, in quote unquote. My theory is now that I don't think boozy industries exist.
No.
Because I would have boozed in any industry.
Any industry,
I would have found my tribe. But I work in an industry that gives you the opportunity to go out at whenever you want.
It's acceptable.
Yeah, mate, having 4 or 5 pints going back to the office is...
Yeah, it's all right,
Yeah.
You crack on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you do your numbers and...
Yeah, it don't matter.
Oh, he's got a network, hasn't he? Everyone loves him. He gets us a lot of work. Well, to the detriment of what? But anyway, so I'm now lying about how much I've had to drink before I come home, because I'm now in an industry that allows me to do it, and it's paid for because we expense it all. So I'm on an all-inclusive stag do at work.
Forever.
How I see it, yeah. And it gets really bad from there. And all I know I'm doing is I'm signing it off with my missus. I'm saying, oh, I didn't have that much to drink. Or I was all right last night, wasn't I? Or I'm going to have a couple this afternoon, but not as many as I did last week.
Yeah.
And then you do anyway. You know, you come home and you're like, she's like, oh, you know, you had a drink. I didn't think I had any meetings today. I'm like, yeah, I had the last minute one. Got dragged in with an end user.
So dishonesty through the roof.
Oh, all the way, yeah. So, and it's getting worse and worse. And then sometimes I'm going into work and I'm just going straight to the spoons at 9. I'm not even going in the office. Really? I'm getting my laptop out and I'm having a Guinness just to get me started for the day. Right, I can start work now. That weren't every day or every week, but it was certainly more. It was increasing as time went on. I was at every event. I was walloped. I was like, I'll be the character that everyone loves. They'll buy stuff off me. It's fucking nonsense.
But you was in the pub near work before you went in work.
Yeah.
Do people not spot that at work? Do they not see it? No one said nothing.
But the thing is, it's so common in London. So common.
No one gives a shit.
I don't think they really care.
No.
I
It's mad, isn't
really
it?
don't.
Isn't it mad?
Well, because every corner's got a pub on it. You're programmed to see people in pubs. You're programmed to see people drinking in London.
And no one in that office said to you, Shaun, bruv, you've got an issue.
Oh, one of the fellas I was working with was doing it with me.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
Yeah. And yeah, so that gets worse anyway. So I get to April. So where are we now? We're 24 now. It's the 25th. April 22. I'm going on a golf trip, and I'm starting to get back into that thing of starting to scare me now because how much I'm drinking. It ain't, you know, I can see my missus. It's starting to come on top. My work's not good. My missus ain't happy. We're trying for a baby. We're not getting pregnant. It's getting bad, and I'm doing a work in counselling. I'm still in pain. I'm still miserable. I'm still having arguments that I don't know why I'm having them. I'm still leaning on other people for external validation. not knowing that I'm doing it and I'm not getting what I want back. Still the same stuff that was going on 11 years before. I just had a basis to understand.
Yeah.
So Addicted to Recovery, I was listening to this morning, your last one. They said it's one thing having a self-awareness, and if you're going to do something about it,
100%.
don't work. Then, so I said, before I went on this lad's holiday, I've got a couple of mates who I confide in who know me. They know I'm a little bit troubled past and whatever. I said, look, I need you to keep an eye on me and not let me drink so much. I'm trying to hand that over to someone else.
Their responsibility.
Yeah. So I said, I don't want to ruin my golf. So can we have a safe word and just say, look, think about the golf, and then I'll stop drinking.
Of course you will.
Right.
Yeah, fucking right.
So how quickly, from us meeting up in the Weatherspoons in the airport to think about the golf, how quickly do you think that was?
About an hour and a half.
Fucking weren't far off.
Was it really?
And that was it. So we were sitting around the pool bar outside, and they got one waiter for like 30 of us, and fucking taking so long to get me my drink. I'm just going to the toilet and going to the Irish bar that they've got set up. 2 shots of tequila, please. Wallop. Go and sit down. Oh, my beer's here. Lovely.
Yeah.
No one else knew I was doing that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be that, man, oh, fucking hurry up, get me my drink. Do you know what I mean? I wanted
worried
to be the
about
cool drinker.
You're worried about what people think again,
yeah. So when I come back off that holiday, I was like, right, there's something wrong here. I've admitted to my mate, I need you to help me. He couldn't help me. So what I did is I just thought, it's so stressful trying to moderate. Do you know how fucking stressful it is to moderate?
It's impossible.
Ridiculous.
It is draining.
So the mental gymnastics you've got to do in order to do it, and it ruins your buzz anyway.
Yeah, mate.
You can't get to where you want to go. Because we just want to go fucking oblivion, right?
Sean, listen though, when you're trying to moderate, right, there isn't a normal temperate drinker out there who needs to moderate.
No.
So if you're listening or watching and you're moderating your drinking, you've got a fucking problem with your drinking.
Without doubt.
Haven't you?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and that's what you then can't fucking do that.
No.
So you're trying, and that's why it's exhausting. It's not possible.
No. So what I did is I just admitted, once I start, I don't stop.
Yeah, and then carried on anyway.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I went, but it's that was, and that's just step one, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. You're powerless, yeah.
So I was going to give up on the idea and just say, if I'm going drinking, I ain't having 1 or 2. Don't bother calling me. I ain't coming.
No, I'm getting on it.
I'm getting on it. And then I thought, well, I don't want to not have an excuse. So I'll go out with the blokes who have 1 or 2 and go home to their wives. I'll just stay out. But I know I'm going to do it. So I'd phone my missus and I'd make up some lie about the client I was with, just sit in the boozer on my own and have 10 pints.
Yep.
15 pints. Rocking whatever time. If I come home on time, I was bringing something with me. Train juice.
Yeah.
Like all these fucking cute little names we've got for a drug. It's bizarre, isn't it? But so I did that, and I was saying, I'm a legend, me. Do you know what I mean? I'll go out on a Tuesday, I don't care. Once I'm on, I'm on. Like that. Once I start, I can't stop. And say it as a joke. And as the year progressed, how I changed that sentence, mate. It went from once I start, I can't stop, to fuck. Once I start, I ain't stopping. And it was that admission was the final piece, was the final key. And even though I was still drinking, and I flicked through TikTok and I saw I think it was William Porter, went, this is why I couldn't stop. And I went, that fucking hell, that sparked something in me now. I'm going to listen to a bit more of this. And I never did for another 2 months, I don't think.
Okay. And
it was April. I joined a vets football team. My daughter was 4 months old. I needed a bit of time for myself. And having a child sort of restricted my drinking a little bit. So that's where the secret drinking come in. My missus would be breastfeeding or whatever, so I know she's not going to have full fat Coke. Because it's got caffeine in it and that. So on the way home, where I would normally stay out, I couldn't, because I'd feel guilty about not being there for them to. At least I was there. Yeah. In the newsagents, tip the top of the Coke away, in goes the vodka, in the fridge. That's me sorted for the evening. Yeah, job. Thinking she didn't know.
Of course, she didn't know.
She's like, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. I'm going to sit up and play a bit of PlayStation. That's me sitting up, finishing that off. And that admission, understanding that, noticing the drinking in the morning, coming in a bit more often, the secret drinking for a few months. One Sunday, I'd gone and watched the vets team play football. I was injured. I didn't want to go home. I needed time to myself because that's what I need. And I went to a harvester and I sat in there on my own, watched the football, didn't text no one, nothing. I don't know why I was there. Because I just wanted to drink.
You've lost, isn't it?
I've done all this work in counselling. I've been so vulnerable to people that I love, and these are the things that I struggle with. These are the things that and there I was, just sat. And I think kids are a great mirror. They show you exactly who you are.
Yep.
When you have that responsibility. And I stayed in there and carried on drinking. Said, "Oh, I'm with the boys." I was on my own. I'm with the boys. And I woke up the next morning, hanging out my arse, and I saw my wife and my little one playing on the floor in the living room.
And you felt like a sack of shit.
And I thought, if I carry on, in 5 years' time, this is all going to be gone.
Yeah, man.
Why? Because I'm drinking. And I just carried on that line of questioning, why am I still drinking? And I kind of half had a answer to that. And I just had to find out. And one of the best things I heard, and this is where we come to your question about rituals and stuff like that, on a podcast was, if you want to know why you drink, then stop drinking. And the answer will come.
Yeah, man.
And it's never a truer word been said. So I stopped, and that was time. No big like, I'm stopping drinking. Isn't everything going to be great? Mummy didn't even know. She didn't even know until 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks later, when I'm going to work. I'm doing social events. I'm doing all of this sober, and I didn't tell her. And obviously she's baby brain.
You can't
she's
tell
new
her
mum
because then you've got to be honest about how much you was fucking drinking.
Yeah, that come a lot later on, actually, yeah. But so I said, I'm going to run the Brighton Marathon next year. She went, when's that? I said, well, it's mid-April, so I'll be almost a year sober then. She went, oh. I went, what? She went, what are you done now then? I went, yeah. Like, I was just fully in it. Because for those 5 weeks, and still for another 5-6 weeks after that, I listened to probably 4 hours of podcast sobriety content a day.
Yeah.
I was just not obsessed, but I was like, I related so much to what people had shared, and I thought, I can do this.
Yeah.
It can be done, because that person did the same thing as me. That person did what I did for the same reason. That thing. That. And then I started connecting work that I'd done in counselling with it. And then I found that if I continued to self-investigate, and a lot of that stuff probably does make up the 12 steps that I do, which was why I was so interested to come and talk to you, because when you got sober, I don't think there was anything else around. There weren't this.
Mate, there's
there weren't.
No. I had AA,
Yeah.
and the fellas in AA, the fellowship. Do you know, when I first got sober, I didn't have a job. Well, I was nearly dead. Yeah, physically and spiritually dead. I weighed 8.5 stone, was homeless, I had nowhere to live. So I went to 2 meetings a day for nearly 4 months. Sometimes 3 meetings a day. That was my life, with a bus pass in East London. And then sometimes people would give me a lift and that was my life. And I consumed everything about Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12-step program. And fuck me, man, if I hadn't have done it, I wouldn't be here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So there was nothing else. No, there was nothing else. It wasn't a podcast. And the reason why I started this podcast is for the people that don't make it in the rooms, like yourself, or don't want to go to the rooms, or don't make it into a rehab, or whatever the case may be. And if they're sitting at home and they're scrolling, or they're listening, or they're listening to podcasts, or they're watching them on YouTube, whatever it might be, they might go, fucking hell, that's me.
That one saved me.
That's what I'm saying. So it works, doesn't it? It does work. We're in a new era. And
the attitude around the word alcoholic and the attitude around the words like addiction is still in the dark ages.
Yeah, man.
It's got to go.
Yeah.
I started, when I was journaling, I started writing poetry. I thought I was writing songs, but I wasn't. I was writing poetry, and I went to an event to learn how to perform, and I love writing and twisting words and how they work and stuff. And I've launched the Sober as Fuck Poetry Club, and I host that in London. So it's an event so people can creatively investigate their relationship with alcohol. And I'm not out here to take alcohol away from anyone. We're all adults. Drugs are out there. Well, alcohol and drugs, same thing, right? It's out there. A bit of self-investigation, a bit of education on what it actually is and what it does. It isn't something we have to celebrate with, commiserate with. Someone who, you know, and I launch this event and I have people come along that are in fellowships, people that come along that just go, I just knocked it on the head.
Yeah.
And I can't stand being around drunk people, and I know there's going to be sober people here.
Happy days.
And that's that. Didn't need a rock bottom or a counsellor or nothing like that. It just went, alcohol ain't for me.
Yeah.
So we had someone stand up, and part of their piece was, their poem was, right, I need you to close your eyes for the first 2 stanzas. And I'm watching, and I close my eyes as well as the host, and she starts saying, she goes, bang, starts the piece with, in your head, imagine what an alcoholic looks like. And even me now, given the amount of sobriety content I consume, in my head, old long black coat, holes in it, stuff like that. And that's the image that people are given.
Yeah, it is. It's incorrect, man.
And it ain't right.
No, that's not right.
And
this is why we're doing what we're doing, though.
Yeah.
This is why you're sitting here with me.
Yeah.
This is why the different people come on a different weekly basis. Everyone wants to break that stigma, that false stigma, that vision that you had of what an alcoholic looks like. An alcoholic, right, sadly, is quite a popular person in society. There's many. Yeah, I feel that.
Go on.
Well, the way I look at it is that, and I feel that it's because alcohol is so widely consumed, like you've just said. It's normalised. It's frowned upon and looked at with like a confusion if you don't drink.
It's the only drug you've got to justify why you don't take it.
Exactly that, right. So this is the issue that then produces functioning alcoholics, right? And you used that word earlier, functioning. Now, you know, at the end of the day, if you're a functioning alcoholic, you're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Don't forget that fucking second word, right? An alcoholic is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And I believe there's a lot in society. And it's accepted. It's accepted behaviour. But what's sad about that is that the person who is happy and go lucky and has got this exterior of a bravado inside feels like you and I, right? And there's fucking loads of them out there.
People that, you know, the men's mental health and the amount of men that commit suicide. And the amount of times people, I spoke to him yesterday, he seemed fine.
Yeah, of course. Always. Listen,
and it's not about that person that committed suicide had a drink problem, that they were in pain, and the pain wasn't being addressed, and they were using something, whether it be, I mean, I can walk into a betting shop, place a bet, lose a tenner, and never think about it again. Mm-hmm. Just it ain't my thing. Don't flip my switch.
No, man, no.
But there's people out there losing houses.
Yeah, mate. Daily, they're like losing. Listen, it's a crippling illness.
And at the base of it, sitting opposite me, is that person who's in pain placing bets. It's sitting opposite me, drinking in the morning or filling up a bottle of Coke with vodka.
Yes.
And if we can get down to people that are in pain rather than they got a drinking problem.
But then
and just throwing that away.
Yeah, but Shaun, this is what I was saying earlier, isn't it? It goes back to that point of talking. If you start to talk, you start to open up, you can start exploring about how you feel. Yeah. Then the words pain might come out, and then you can start looking at that, and then all of a sudden, fuck me, no, yeah, I do drink too much. Bang, bang, bang. So talking is where it's got to start. For me, it's where it's got to start. But I'm conscious of the time, so I'm going to ask you a question that I ask every guest. To our listeners and our viewers, if they're new around, or even if you're long term around and you're struggling with addiction, what would one piece of advice be from you today?
Don't look at yourself as broken, because what you're doing is the most natural thing in the world. Mm-hmm. If you're in pain and you're searching for comfort, I totally understand. Yeah. And there's a lot of us that do. So put that bag down. Don't let it weigh you down. You're not broken. You've got some pain. And there's a tremendous amount of content and help out there. Mm-hmm. That would be...
your advice?
Yeah.
Wicked. Shaun? Thank you very much, man.
Love talking to you, mate.
Part 2 coming soon, I think.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Part 2,
Yeah,
wicked.
yeah.
Guys, I hope you're enjoying the Sober Stew podcast and the episode today. Listen, I'm asking for a massive favour here. If you like the show, you like the podcast, and you feel like you're getting relevant content from it, please like and subscribe and share the channel, yeah? The way I see this is the more people know about this channel, the more chance we've got of spreading the message of recovery. And that might change one person's life. And if we do, that's enough. But let's look at it in a different way. If we save one person's life, that's massive. Please like, share, subscribe. God bless.
Trying to be the best I could be and achieve my dreams. They ain't really been where I've been. They ain't seen what I seen. They ain't felt what I felt. And the smartest thing I done was reach out for help. Now I'm flying by myself.